In today's Pravachan, Maharaj highlights a deeply transformative truth. The mistaken identity of the self with the body is at the root of all our suffering. The moment we say my body, we already reveal that I is something distinct from the body. And yet in our daily thoughts and actions, we slip into the delusion that we are the body, leading to endless cycles of pleasure and pain. To Maharaj, this is not just a philosophical idea, it is the central illusion to be shattered in spiritual life. And the remedy? The remembrance of the divine name with the deep inner conviction that God is the true doer, not I. When this awareness becomes firm, the ego melts and peace dawns. Today's teaching is a direct reflection of this inner detachment and true spiritual wisdom that saints like Bhagavan Nama Bodhendral embodied completely. In the practical world, it is important to know who I am and what my duty is. It is equally important in spiritual life to know who I really am. If I speak of something as mine, the owner is definitely a different entity. When I talk of my body, evidently the speaker is distinct from the body. When we say I have fever or I am emaciated, we are obviously identifying ourselves with the body and confusing matters. To identify oneself with the body, losing sight of the true I, is an illusion, and this creates experience of pleasure and pain. The fact that I detest pain and welcome pleasure clearly indicates that my original state must be one of joy, permanent joy. The water we bring in a jug from the flowing river must taste like the water from the river, because the two are identical. If it tastes different, we can confidently surmise that the jug must have been unclean. We may extend the analogy and say that, since the individual soul is part of the ever-blissful cosmic soul, it must be equally blissful. If it is not, if it experiences misery of any kind, this can only be ascribed to pollution in the form of the body am I idea. Therefore, the mind must be disabused of that notion. If we desire to stop the growth of a certain tree, it will not do merely to prune the foliage. We must stop watering the roots. You know, the tree of our Prapancha has flourished because it has been nourished by playing into the hands of ego, and it is this ego that needs to be eradicated. This can be achieved by discarding the pride of doership. This pride is entirely unjustified because the true doer is God, not we. True worship really consists in cultivating the conviction that God is the true doer, not I. Pleasure and displeasure both vanish when the conviction that God is the doer gets indelibly inscribed on the mind. Such a mind possesses an unmistakable grandeur of contentment, and this indeed is the mark of saintliness. It is the attainment of this peaceful, undisturbable contentment that all sadhana aims at. Nama Smarana should be practiced with the conviction that all doership rests with God. Bhagavan Nama Bodhendral was a great exponent of Nama Siddhanta, the doctrine that chanting the divine name alone can lead to liberation. Once, during his travels, he came across a proud scholar who questioned, how can mere repetition of a name without understanding the Vedas lead to liberation? Bodhendral calmly asked him, do you believe you are the body? The scholar said, of course not, I am the Atman. Bodhendral smiled and said, then let the body study Vedas and you chant the name of God. The scholar was stunned. He had all the knowledge, yet was trapped in the pride of being the doer. Bodhendral's words pierced his ego and revealed the truth. True self-knowledge is not intellectual. It is the dissolution of ego, the I am the body feeling. From that moment, the scholar became his disciple and immersed himself in Namajapa, no longer seeing himself as the doer. Maharaj often reminds us, true freedom begins when the ego ends. As long as the E is entangled in the body, desires and doership, even the highest learning becomes a burden. But the moment we understand that we are not the body, and that God alone acts through this body, the mind rests in peace. This shift does not come by debate or study, but by Nama Smarana done with faith and surrender. Let today's reflection, inspired by the life of Bodhendral, help us begin afresh, disidentify from the body, drop the pride of doership, and live every breath as God's own movement. That is real saintliness, and that is freedom.